In most photography scenarios, a large camera bag with plenty of space makes all the sense in the world. The goal is to maximize your creative potential when you're traveling, going on a hike, or maybe working with a new client. So an extra lens, a tripod, an extra camera body, it all makes sense. But the opposite applies to street photography. Typically, less is more when it comes to making street photos, and I personally like to pack light. So today, we're gonna go over my minimal approach to street photography, and we're gonna take a look at what's inside my very small street photography bag. So funny making this video, because I'm thinking back to a YouTube comment from maybe 4 years ago, where my friend Chris had this giant camera bag on, and one of y'all made fun of him in the comments, and he later admitted that the camera bag did look just preposterous. It was like the guy was like hiking across the country when we were just going out to shoot street photos. But I digress. Let's get into my philosophy and my camera bag and what I bring with me on a day of street photography. Something I want to get more into on the channel, or should I say back into, is making maybe once a month street photography videos. I talked about that recently, and I actually have a video coming out probably shortly after this one where we're going to take out, we're going to take out this phone, the Nothing phone, and do street photography with it. So this is something I want to get back into, and I thought it'd be good to share my approach to keeping things minimal and simple with street photography, because in my opinion it works better. So the camera bag that I like to use for street photography is one that is extremely small. Now this bag is made by a company called ASRV. They typically make fitness apparel. They kind of have like two lines that I really enjoy. They have a line for more performance gear and a line for more casual, just like athleisure stuff, but they make bags as well. This is from, I think, last season, so I'm not sure if these are still on their website, but when I saw it, I immediately knew it was going to be the perfect bag for street photography, which is something I had not been able to find quite yet. And this bag is absolutely perfect for fitting a camera. Now, my philosophy when it comes to street photography is only bring one camera and one lens. You don't need anything more than that. Traditionally, street photography is 28mm, 35mm, or 50mm. Typically, what I like to do is pick one camera, like I said, one lens that can fit into this bag. That is an indication that it's an appropriate camera and lens for street photography. So my Leica Q2 fits in here very nicely. My Fujifilm X Pro 3 fits in here even more nicely. And sometimes when I'm using the SL2, I might throw this lens, my 35 Summicron, on there. Sometimes I'll throw this 45 on the SL2 in this bag, but primarily the two cameras that go in here are the X Pro 3 and the Q2. So we'll go ahead and throw the Q2 in there like so. Now, the next thing that goes in the bag is this small Shinoba, I believe that's how it's called, little filter pouch. Inside of this, I keep the three main filters that I use with the Q2. I have a ProMist 1-stop, a ProMist 1/4 stop, and then a circular polarizer. I just throw this in the bag because you never know when you're gonna need one, and this thing's really small and convenient. I got it on B&H a few years ago, and if you want to be nifty, you can attach it to your belt. How cool is that? You could probably actually strap it on here and it might look kind of cool. I've never done that, but it's an option for you technical folks out there. Where are we? Next up is something that doesn't go in my camera bag. It actually goes into my beard. My camera bag is all about convenience and simplicity, and no one makes it easier to keep yourself looking fresh than Manscaped. And Manscaped is the sponsor on today's video. Manscaped is what I use before each one of these videos to make sure my beard is looking on point, and I love how simple it is to do that using their products. The Beard Hedger is one of their latest offerings, and it allows you to easily groom your beard at home with an adjustable guard that has 20 potential lengths. And their limited time pro kit includes beard oil, scissors to cut those stragglers, and a comb plus beard balm. And I'll go ahead and save you all the visual of me in the shower, but a beard shampoo, conditioner, as well as a brush is also included with that kit. This channel has a viewership of 92% men, so let's collectively take care of ourselves a little bit more this year, and you have no excuse because Manscaped is hooking up the channel with 20% off and free international shipping when you use promo code EvanRanft at checkout. That's 20% off plus free international shipping with promo code EvanRanft when you go to manscaped.com/EvanRanft. So the next thing I bring out with me is more specific to YouTube or anyone trying to make any type of social media content, and that is some type of action camera. I can't even remember the name of this thing. It's made by DJI, but I don't know the name. It's an Action something maybe, but I do love how much battery this thing has, and I like this cool like modular system so I can see myself on both sides. This thing works great. It has a lot of internal storage as well, so when I go out and shoot behind the scenes videos or I try to make something for Instagram, this is an extremely good tool to have. So I just throw it in this front pocket like so. There we go. Now next up is these two very valuable pieces of equipment. This is a hot shoe mount for an action camera, and this is the little screw that goes in here. By using this, I can attach this action camera to my actual camera and record all that behind the scenes footage. These things cost, I want to say, like $10 or something on Amazon. They're extremely inexpensive, but they add a perspective to you creating street photography that's almost impossible to achieve otherwise unless you hire a camera person, and even doing that, it's pretty difficult. It's less organic that way. So I prefer to use that. That might be something more specialized to anyone making social media content, but that goes in the front pocket of this bag. Now, the last thing that goes in this bag is my iPhone. The reason being, if I want to edit any photos on the go, I use Lightroom Mobile on here. It connects to the Leica Q2 via the Leica app. I can just download the DNG file, edit it on my phone, and we have social media content on the go. So that's everything that goes into this bag. Now, 75% of the time, this bag is simply an organizational tool to transport all the gear from one place to another. It doesn't actually go out on the shoot with me. I like to use this as an organizational system for street photography because it prevents me from overpacking and basically getting paralysis by analysis, thinking I need all this gear. If it doesn't fit in the bag, I can't bring it with me. And a lot of times when I get out on the shoot, I'll just get the camera out, get the GoPro or the action cam out, and then bring my phone with me, and the bag stays in the car. It's just a simple organization tool to get me from point A to point B, and occasionally, probably 25% of the time, I actually will keep this on my person and wear it as like a crossbody bag so I can put the camera up if I need to, or maybe keep a card or something in here. Maybe I don't have pockets. Who knows? There are scenarios where the bag comes out with me. Now, the reason I like to take this minimal approach to street photography is what I already alluded to, this paralysis by analysis that tends to happen with photography. When you go out traveling, it makes sense to bring a lot of stuff with you because you don't want to miss out on an opportunity. But with street photography, typically you have multiple opportunities to photograph a composition. Let's say you walk out to an area and you see a photo you might like and you think, oh, if I had my 50mm, this shot would be better. You can always go home and come back to that same place the next day and replicate that composition. Now, the opportunity might not be the exact same, but in street photography, everything moves so fast, you would argue that by stopping to change a lens, you would miss that moment anyways. And that's what's so interesting about street photography and the gear that you bring, is that you have to recognize that the moments happening are split-second moments. So changing your lens isn't really a possibility. There's going to be times you take an L and you don't have the right lens on your camera. There's going to be times where you're just in the wrong place at the wrong time and you can't get the image that you think you can get if you were 10 steps to the right or to the left, and that is the joy of street photography. And by only bringing one lens and minimal equipment, you simplify that process to focus on the things that are important, which is getting the right composition, being in the right place, anticipating the right moment, and you're not stressing about gear and lenses and things that don't really apply to a fast-paced scenario like street photography. So for me, this is more of a mental organization exercise to help me focus on the actual craft, and this is the reason why you rarely see me now wear a camera bag or bring a bunch of gear with me when I go out to make street photos. So that right there is my minimal approach to street photography. If you enjoyed the video, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe if you're not yet, and if you follow me on Instagram or social media and you see photos you like, you can grab my presets from evanranf.com or learn how I structure my business from moderncreativemoney.com. Those are linked in the description down below. I'll catch y'all in the next video.